Do you think that criminals should have more rights than their victims? If you don't support the death penalty, then that's what you're saying. There are certain acts that deserve the capital punishment. People that do just horrible things, undescribable things, deserve the death penalty. With capital punishment, you never have to worry about them escaping from jail or killing again. It brings closure to the victims' families, and they never have to worry about this person coming again. Over the next few minutes, I will share with you a brief history of the death penalty, stats and statistics, and some interviews from professors, authors, and people in the investigating system. After this speech, you will be like one of 70% of all Americans who support the death penalty. In 1972, the death penalty was suspended from the United States. People felt that it was unconstitutional and it was not being used enough. However, it came back in 1976 because rates of murder doubled in this time. So in 1976, the death penalty came back, and each state had the decision whether to bring it back or not to bring it back. Currently, Alaska, Hawaii, Iowa, Minnesota, Michigan, Massachusetts, North Dakota, Rhode Island, West Virginia, Vermont, and Wisconsin don't have the death penalty. Texas leads the United States with the most executions, and Idaho has only ever had one execution. Whenever there is a sentencing for the death penalty, the jury must know if the person will be eligible for parole. That way, they can think, do I want this person back on the streets in 25 years, or should we keep them behind bars and make sure that they never are a risk to anybody again? Only 30 to 60 people are executed annually. Public approval, again, is 70%. 381 out of 387 of the executions are done by lethal injection. And as shown here, this is a lethal injection room. And it shows that, like, we're not torturing these people, we are just giving them what they've earned from their actions. 1,202 people have been executed since 1976. Currently, 3,295 people are on death row, and there are about 30, last year, 2008, 37 executions were done, and in 2009, 52 executions were done. As shown on this graph, between 1930 and 1960, there were lots of executions, up to 200 a year. And then you can see the years of suspension here, and then they increase back to 30 to 60 annually to the time now. Crimes subject to the death penalty depend on the jurisdiction. Some common, though, are murder with aggravating circumstances, kidnapping, rape, terrorism, and use of weapons of mass destruction that end up killing somebody. However, the highest grade of murder is what is the most common in the United States. There are 4 steps to the capital punishment for sentencing, and it goes sentencing, and then direct review, and then state collateral review, and then federal corpus habeas. And this makes sure that the right person and that the death penalty is used only when it is needed. So the people who worry about an innocent person getting the death penalty doesn't happen because they make sure that there is enough evidence and that they make sure that this is the person that did these terrible crimes. And the ones who don't get the terrible crimes. There's one execution per 325 murder convictions. So this tells you that it has to be terrible, just unthinkable crimes. This should tell you that only the people who deserve it do get it. And death penalty is important because it could save many people from getting killed, and because people still kill from jail and stuff, it's not going to stop them. And society there are just some things that society has to offer that these people just abuse and just do not deserve this at all. And according to the criminal, sorry, I got lost on my notes.
Keep going.
According to Mr. Bordeaux's book, An Argument of the Death Penalty, there are two lives to think about, and too much is put onto the criminal, and people forget about the victim and what they do. When there was a suspension on the capital punishment, again, there was a double 100% increase in the murder rates. Opponents often say that it is like that the United States is like, when they use the death penalty, it's like murder themselves. But the opposing argument to this is that when we kill somebody in war, then that's like murder. But we have to fight war. We have to protect ourselves from other countries, and this is the same thing. We're protecting society from these awful people who do these unspeakable things. In an interview that I read with Professor Van de Hoog, from the New York University, he was asked, why do you favor the death penalty? And his answer was that there's a man who's got life without chance of parole in prison, and he is sentenced for life, and he has killed 3 people from being in jail. He's killed inmates and he's killed prison guards, which tells you that these people are going to do what they're going to do, so you have to stop it, and if we have the power, we need to be able to stop it. So 70% of Americans favor the death penalty because these people have to get what they have earned. And some actions just deserve the death penalty. It's just, we don't want these guys back on the streets. They just have done unspeakable things, and they're just not right for society. The death penalty, again, is only used when it's needed. 30 to 60 people are executed annually, and there's probably going to be votes for the death penalty in the future, and you just have to remember the speech and think about these people. Do you want them back on the streets? I mean, they're still killing from prison. Do you want them still killing people who go to work every day like us and killing them? I mean, it's just not right. And death penalty is needed for some actions, and do you want a murderer to have a chance to get back on the streets? The task is yours to keep them behind bars.